That afternoon, the sky was like a canvas freshly washed by rain. Soft, clean, and a little melancholy. Gondron and I had just finished some small errands in town, and now it was time to head home. But as usual, neither of us liked the same old routes. The main roads were often congested, jammed, full of trucks and buses, and too crowded to enjoy the sunset. So Gondrong turned the wheel toward Gedanganak, and our intention was clear to return via the shortcut that connected Gedanganak, Beji, and then Lemah Abang. Let's go through Gedanganak, then Beji, and then we'll get to Lemah Abang. It's a shame to miss an afternoon like this in the middle of traffic, Gondrong said, rolling down the car window slightly. The wet wind from the rain immediately seeped in, gently caressing my face. I nodded in agreement. This was a decision I wouldn't regret. The road from Gedanganak began to reveal its character, bumpy but quiet asphalt, with rice fields and small houses with spacious yards on either side. In several places, puddles of rainwater formed natural mirrors, reflecting the silvery sky that was starting to turn orange. We passed an old guard post on one of the narrow bends. A man in a sarong sat relaxed, drinking coffee, oblivious to the traffic. Next to him, a stray dog curled up, its head resting on the man's leg. Long-haired, he slowed down briefly and waved. The man returned the gesture with a small nod and a faint smile. Moments like this, as simple as they were, could provide a sense of peace that couldn't be found on the main road. It's nice, coming this way. It's cool, it's peaceful, not like the honking of horns on the main road, I murmured, noticing a row of mango trees on the left. Some branches hung down toward the road, their leaves still wet, dripping gently. Yes, that's why I like coming home this way. Many people only pass through here on their motorbikes or looking for shortcuts. But for us, this is like a path home that understands we like peace, Gondrong replied. The car continued slowly, following the small bends of Beji. Here, the road sloped slightly, then crossed a small bridge over a small river whose water was fast flowing after the rain. Small children stood on the bank, trying to catch fish with an old colander. One of them waved cheerfully at us, and we waved back with smiles. In Beji, everything seemed to slow down, and that was just what we needed. We stopped for a moment at a small coffee shop on the side of the road. Mrs. Lastry's shop was well known among the locals, although there was no sign. There were just long bamboo benches, a thermos of coffee, a few jars of cookies, and a small television that was on silently. Mrs. Lastry greeted us with a broad smile. Hey, Mr. Gondron, why don't you stop by so late in the afternoon? Would you like some black coffee, as usual? Mrs. Lastry asked as she poured hot water into a glass. Yes, ma'am, too. And some old-fashioned cakes, too, Gondrong replied. I sat on a bamboo bench, gazing out at the yellowing rice paddies across the road. At the edge of the paddy field, a flock of sparrows perched on the stalks. The afternoon breeze was starting to dissipate the heat, and the aroma of coffee filled my nostrils. Drinking coffee in a place like this couldn't be rushed. We chatted casually with Mrs. Lastry about the upcoming harvest, her son who was now working in Semarang, and about the new neighbor who reportedly sold meatballs. It was typical village conversation, warm and honest. About half an hour later, we said our goodbyes. The road was getting a little dark as the sun was almost disappearing behind the Lemah Abang hill. We continued our journey, this time truly entering the Lemah Abang area. The road became narrower, and some parts weren't fully paved, but this was where the feeling of homecoming was strongest. Lemah Abang was quiet that afternoon. The air was starting to cool, and a thin mist hung between the bamboo groves. We passed old, clapboard-walled houses. Most with spacious yards filled with ornamental plants, hanging pots, and chicken coops. Small lamps began to come on one by one. The sound of crickets began to fill the atmosphere. Our car slowly entered the area I loved most. A small descent with a sharp bend and a view of the valley to the right. Gondrong stopped the car for a moment on one of the inclines after the bend. From this point, we could see expanses of rice fields and houses starting to light up. In the distance, the sound of prayers from a small mosque could be heard faintly, blending with the rustling of the wind. The afternoon had truly turned to dusk, and dusk in Lemah Abang always has its own way of keeping us quiet. Let's pass this way again tomorrow, okay? Let's go home slowly, like now, I said. Gondrong smiled and nodded. Yes, this is a road that understands us. No need to say much. It already understands. We continued our journey, slowly climbing the final incline. Headlights reflected off the slightly damp road. It might rain again tonight. But at that moment, coming home felt more than just about arriving home. It was about savoring every second of the journey from Gedanganak to Beji to Lemah Abang that gave us the space to feel alive. As we left the final climb, the dusk began to fade completely. All that remained was a faint pink glow slowly disappearing among the towering kapok trees in the distance. The road began to darken, but Gondrong continued to drive slowly. He knew the small bends in Lemah Abang by heart, even the tightest ones. The car's headlights caught an orange cat sitting quietly at the side of the road. It didn't run away, just glanced back briefly, as if to say, "Don't worry, I know you're just passing through." The night air began to grow colder, piercing to the bone. The car window remained slightly open.